Hi everyone, welcome to Graphic Design Bootcamp by Tech Anchor, where creativity finds direction. Subscribe now and let's dive in. So let's get started. Today we'll be looking at the topic getting started with graphic design. So this is a graphic design bootcamp by Tech Anchor, and the topic for today is getting started with graphic design. So we will look at software to be used, explaining dialog box, units, conversion, subtraction, multiplication, understanding file formats like PSD, JPEG, PNG, PDF, and so on, saving and exporting files. So this for this bootcamp, we'll be making use of the software called Photoshop. We have software like CorelDRAW, Illustrator, like Canva, and so on, but we'll be using Photoshop. The reason why we are going to use Photoshop is because by industry standard, Photoshop is the most recommended software for graphic design. In a case that the software is not important, then you can design with any graphics design software. But if you ever thought of working remotely, you should think of learning Photoshop. I'm not trying to say other software are not important. They are okay, they are fine. But by industry standard, Photoshop is the most recommended software for graphic design. So following the trend, I like using the latest tools, the most recommended tools in anything, in any course, in anything for my students. So that's why we will be using Photoshop for this particular bootcamp. So let's launch Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CC 2019. So here we are. Welcome to Photoshop. So this is Photoshop. If you launch Photoshop for the first time, this is the screen you are going to see, the welcome screen. But if you just launch your Photoshop and you have not done anything, you will not see like all this recent design I've made, which you can see. Yours will be empty. But if you have been using Photoshop and you have been designing with Photoshop, you will see your recent designs. But in your case, if it's your first time of installing Photoshop, you are not going to see anything like this. So you just head to create new. Once you click on create new, this is the dialog box. This box is going to appear. One thing about designing is before you even design anything, you have a picture of what you want to do in mind. Let's say you want to design a banner, poster. You have a measurement, or there is a place you want to place it. If you want to place it on a billboard, there's where you want to place it, and first thing you will do is to go and measure that place. You might use any measurement instrument, be it in yard, be it in inch, foot, as the case may be. But before you even start any design, you must have a measurement of what you want to design for. So that's why the first thing you are going to do is to choose that measurement from this place. So now look at this recent. This is just like recent measurements I've used. Save photo. So you can, there are some measurements already made down for you which you can use. Print. Here now, if you want to design with popular measurements, like you want to use A4, A6, A5, A3, as the case may be, you come here. If you want to make use of A4, you just pick A4, A3. So but We have this one, art and illustration. Photoshop can be used for many things. That's one thing about Photoshop. Artists use it. Many people use Photoshop. So if you come to a web, like the UI UX designers, you can just pick a desktop screen here and make use of it. Come to mobile, you can pick a phone you want to design for mobile. So UI UX designers, they use it too. Although the most recommended software for UI UX designer is Figma. For UI UX design, the most recommended software is Figma. But you can also use Photoshop to design your UI. First, when I design my app, I use Photoshop. So, but the most recommended software that has all the features a UI UX designer can make use of or should make use of is Figma. So if you want to learn UI UX design, you go for Figma. But here we are looking at graphic design. So after saying that, but if you don't have any, like if you have your own measurement, maybe you are not using A4, you are not using mobile web or all these, let me just call this one like precepts, all these measurements that have been made down for you, and you have your own measurement. This is where to do that. First, you see on title, by default you don't have a title for your design here, so you see on title. So what you are going to do in this case is to give your design a name. So I'll call my own, I'll say poster. Let's say I want to make a poster. The next thing now is, if you look at, we've done this, now we are here. If you look at the units, if you click on the drop down, you will see inches, centimeters, millimeters, point, picas, pixel. So now, like I said, depending on the measurement tool you use to measure whatever you want to design for, was it inch, was it foot, was it yard? So you must have like a unit. So if you use inches, so this is where to pick it, whether you use pixel, whether you have a measurement in pixel, in inches, in centimeters, millimeters, as the case may be, this is where to pick it. Let's say I have my measurement in inches, I will pick inches. Now there are two most important things to measure: the height and the width. Those are the two most important things to measure. So let's say I have my height to be 12, my width to be 12 and my height 10. Now we come to resolution. This is very, very, very important. Why is it important is that because this will determine the quality of your design. If you are designing for a screen, something you just use on like all this UI UX, if you make use of all this, 72 is okay. But if you are designing something that will be printed out, so it's advisable you go for 300. The color mode, make use of RGB, then you leave every other thing the way it is and you click create. So here we are, you have created a new document. So you have created a new document. Congratulations. So we are going to stop here for today. In our next class, we will talk about conversion, subtraction, multiplication, and the rest. So see you in our next class.